Yo yo yo, Ziggy here, and I'm bringing you The Legend of Zelda the Minish cap. That's right, it is week 2 of the Real Commentator March Madness. Thank you Miss Artemis01 again for a great battle in the first week. I was able to make it through. I was very shocked whenever they made the announcement that I beat her, and I can't say enough about how great of a commentator she is. So thank you again. It was a great battle, and now for week 2 I have this is when the competition starts getting even more intense. I am facing the dynamic Victini, also known as D to the double V, or D to the V. No, I was gonna say double V. D to the V. Channel to his or link to his channel description below. He is a Let's Player, and that's one thing that is great about this competition so far, is that it gives people with different styles of commentating, whether it's Let's Plays or straight commentary on first-person shooters. Different games are being brought up in the competition. I've seen a slew of different games, which is amazing and awesome at the same time, because in the past with competitions like this, pretty much everybody wanted to stick with the popular title at the time. So Black Ops dominated any competition last year, and now this year you're seeing a whole bunch of variety of different games, and I wanted to be different also. Like I said in my first video, I'm an old school gamer, and I like to post old school games, and you saw on my first video a little teaser of when I said Zelda. I had this gameplay right here, and this is Legend of Zelda Minish cap. Like I said earlier, this game came out in 2005 for Game Boy Advance, sorry, and this was during a time when handhelds just weren't interesting to me, simply because I was already a young adult. I was in my early 20s. I was partying it up every weekend, pretty much like I do now, but I didn't have time to play a game like this. Now I'm shocked when I started playing this game, though, just how great the graphics are for Game Boy Advance. This is the same engine as Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, and as an old school gamer, I can't stress enough that back then our graphics were nowhere near as what you guys have today. And this right here would be what we considered great graphics for Super Nintendo, and now it's on the Game Boy Advance like it's nothing. That's, to you guys, you grew up with these graphics like it's cheesy. And for us, this was great graphics back then. So I was shocked whenever I never played the game, and this is the first time I played it, and I was shocked at how much of A Link to the Past it reminded me of. It was the exact same engine, so I was thrilled to play this game. It's a very fun game if you never played it before. I stopped at the 4 Swords pretty much, and then I picked it up, the Legend of Zelda series again whenever the Twilight Princess came out for the Wii. So I was not in the loop in Zeldas during the the handheld era, so the DS, the 3DS, and stuff like that. I haven't played any of those Zeldas, and if they're like this, I'm missing a lot. So it's a great game, great series. I've always loved Zelda. One of the first games I've ever owned. In fact, it is the first game I bought. The game Mario and Duck came with my unit when I first bought the Nintendo. The first game we've ever bought was Legend of Zelda. My father was the one. It's funny, I'm gonna bring a story in this. My father was one that played it more than me whenever we first bought this game. He loved Zelda, and he took it to the next level. This is the funny thing about what we used to do back in the day. So nowadays you can just go on the internet and pick up like say GameFAQs.com and look at walkthroughs and pictures of things that you're missing on each room and stuff like that. Well, my dad, at that time there was no internet like that, no websites like that. Actually, there was no internet yet. This was early 80s or late 80s, sorry. So but one thing he did always have was an awesome imagination, and he did this for us when we were kids. He had graph paper, and you probably guys don't know what graph paper is, but it's pretty much like a paper that has a lot of grid lines. And what he used to do on Legend of Zelda 1, he would go ahead and go to each map or each level, whether it's boss 1 or the worlds, draw the whole overlay of the world, draw each tree and everything, or in as far as levels go, each block and where the compass is, where the master key is, all this stuff on this graph paper. So he pretty much was making these magazines that you see now today with all the strategy guides, and he used to draw it up for us. So every time me and my brother would play Legend of Zelda, and we didn't want to mess up his game, because that's the one thing he always stressed too. Don't touch my game, because you know he was the one with the red ring and all that stuff. And, you know, we were little kids. I was only what, 6, I think, when this game came out. Maybe I was 6 or 5, and my brother was 3. So my younger brother was the one really that would mess up the game, especially since the old Nintendos back then. If you move the controller a certain way off that port, it would like reset those games like nothing. So you gotta watch out. So he set up these strategy guides, pretty much make these strategy guides for us, so that we would know where things were at. So if my brother wanted to know where the skeleton key was, you know, level 8, you know, he would know exactly how to get there, which routes you need to take to get it, and what you needed to get it. So yeah, that's a little interesting story about my father, and you know how when we first played Legend of Zelda. This gameplay obviously is coming to an end. I'm speeding up through everything as far as the credits go and things like that. But I hope you enjoy the story. Hope you enjoyed Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap. It's a great game if you haven't played before. But this is Ziggy saying peace. I'm out of here.